the self-titled Jonathan Edwards solo album from 1971. Now, I'm sure quite a lot of people on the same side of the pond as me are probably scratching their heads going, I'm not sure who he is. Everybody in America will know exactly who he is. Massive big hit on this called Sunshine. It's American country, bluegrass, cowboy type music, but it's more than that. It's more folky than cowboy stuff. It's really good, accessible, nice melodies, lovely words, and lovely laid back, relaxing album. It's brilliant. I discovered Jonathan Edwards in probably the mid to late 90s when, at the time, I was an antique dealer running antique fairs and promotions, and one of my dealers who rented a pitch off me came to me one day and he said, I've got something for you. And I said, oh, what's that? I was always worried when they said that because it was going to cost me money. He said, I've just bought this record collection. He says, oh, I don't know what to do with it. He said, well, have a look at it for me. You're into that sort of stuff. And I went, yeah, I'll have a look at it. I had a look at it, and anyway, it was hundreds and hundreds of great albums from the 70s. Prog rock stuff, lots of stuff like, I think this is where this came from. Lots of the old stuff, King Crimson and Gentle Giant, all that sort of stuff. Lots of whatever. And I said to him, you've got some half decent stuff in there. He says, oh, I ain't bothered about it. He says, I paid X for it. He says, you give me XX for it, and that'll do. And I thought, quite a lot of it I've got. A couple of bits of it, I've got some damp. And at the time, remember, vinyl hadn't had its great resurgence. It was still collectible. I still think some things were still making money, but it wasn't the big money that it is now. But what he wanted for it wasn't a lot, and it was worth it for what I wanted out of it. I thought, what am I going to do with the rest of it? Anyway, I knew this other chap who sold records on the market, and so we went halves on it in the end, and I took out what I wanted out of my collection, and he took the rest and sold it on his market stall, and everyone was a winner. That's how I found Jonathan Edwards. So you never know what's going to creep around the corner. I found this one Jonathan Edwards album, which of course I got for a great deal because I bought a whole collection. The other stuff, because it never really got released over here, did it? Or if it did, not many people bought it. It took me a while to find it. I was going to pay 20, 25 quid an album for the rest of it, but it was worth it. Jonathan Edwards, really good. I'm sure you'll have heard Sunshine. There's some great songs on here. Now, Jonathan Edwards had been playing with the band Sugar Creek prior to signing a solo deal with Capricorn. So the majority of the songs on this debut album were written soon after he left the band. And Jonathan Edwards says, what he used to do, he used to take his guitar, a bottle of wine, wander off into the woods and sit and write songs. Now that is the way to write songs. If you're going to be a songwriter, that's the way to do it. Don't be sitting there with a pencil and a pad all full of angst and whatever. Get yourself a bottle of wine, get yourself a guitar, and wander off out in the woods. That's what I'd do. So that's the way that Jonathan Edwards used to write songs. Now, because that's the first track on the album, everybody knows that it just gets itself fucked up in brilliant. Now then, there's some real nice violin playing that leads into Cold Snow, which is another nice little melody to that song. There's another violin solo again by Stuart Shillman. I think all of these songs, they're too short. You're just getting into them and they finish like 2.5, 3 minutes long. The whole album is only 32 minutes long, both sides. We've got banjos in there on Sweet Maria, which is a track that Jonathan Wood wrote with John Dolce. Then what else have you got? You've got Shanty, as I said earlier on, which is a song which is a real sort of sitting around a campfire trying to sing along sort of song. Emma is the longest track on the album. That's a really, really nice folk song with lots of good guitar work on, not great vocal on a melody that is just absolutely wonderful. Jonathan Edwards plays the harmonica on there, plays a solo on one of the tracks as well, which is top notch. You got bluegrass, country, folk tint of "Don't Cry Blue." A chap called Richard Edelman on that, and he delivers a great shuffle of a drum beat to support another great harmonica solo, and a really infectious vocal. Things get slowed down a little bit with a track called Jessie, which goes back into the folk vein again, and then end of end of the album, Train of Glory, is a little bit of a bit faster paced type thing with some sort of like banjo fueled stomping and all sorts. So it's a really good. I don't know what people would call it now. It would be called bluegrass probably years ago. Now people are probably labelled as folk or Americana or whatever you want to call it, country folk, singer, songwriter, whatever you want to call it. It's a man who took his guitar and a bottle of wine into the woods and came up with a brilliant album. How good's that? Jonathan Edwards, 1971, self-titled album. There you go. Nice gatefold sleeve, first pressing. And that was my introduction to Jonathan Edwards, today's first album. So you never know where you're going to find the next great find, if you like, because I just went to do what was at that time my job, running an antique market fair thing, and this came to me. So there you go. Jonathan Edwards' first album.